The revival of certain styles often reflects cultural nostalgia, a reinterpretation of past aesthetics, or a response to contemporary social and economic conditions. However, some fashion trends, like the enormous starch-filled net garments of the Elizabethan era, face significant barriers to revival in mainstream fashion. Let's explore why certain trends, like these Elizabethan garments, might remain out of vogue. First, make sure to subscribe to the History Luang channel for more intriguing insights into the past. And don't forget to leave a comment below, letting us know what other quirky historical fashions you're curious about. Now, let's get into it. Absolutely, in Elizabethan times, clothing served as a powerful symbol of social status, wealth, and power. The size and elaborateness of collars and ruffs were indeed initially associated with aristocracy. Wearing these large, ornate collars was a way for the nobility to distinguish themselves from the lower classes and assert their privileged position in society. The ruff, in particular, became synonymous with aristocratic fashion during the Elizabethan era. It was not just a decorative accessory but a status symbol, indicating one's wealth and social standing. The cost of the fabric, the labor required to maintain its shape, and the elaborate designs all contributed to the perception of the wearer as belonging to the upper echelons of society. Moreover, the discomfort and impracticality of wearing such large collars and ruffs further reinforced their association with privilege. The inability to perform manual labor while wearing them and the need for servants to assist with their maintenance highlighted the leisurely lifestyle of the aristocracy. In a society where hierarchical structures were rigidly defined, clothing played a crucial role in signaling one's place within that hierarchy. For the aristocracy, dressing extravagantly was not just a matter of personal taste but a means of asserting their dominance and reinforcing their social position. However, it's worth noting that fashion was not static even in Elizabethan times. As trends evolved and societal norms shifted, the meaning of clothing also changed. What started as a symbol of aristocratic privilege eventually became more widespread, as fashion trends filtered down to the lower classes, albeit in more simplified forms. Overall, the massive collars and ruffs of the Elizabethan era were indeed a reflection of the social dynamics of the time, where clothing served as a powerful tool for signaling status and identity. The practice of adding starch to a ruff to assist in its stiffness began in the Low Countries during the mid-1560s. In 1564, Mistress Dingen van der Plas brought this innovative technique to England. She started training garment makers, English women, and other interested parties in the use of starch to stiffen the fabric of their clothes. Notably, van der Plas's starch was completely transparent, which initially took English citizens by surprise. However, they quickly marveled at the discovery that adding a starch paste to freshly washed ruffs caused them to stand tall and allowed craftsmen to create intricate shapes by painstakingly folding the starched fabric. Wires and boards hidden behind large folds were also used to support such architectural feats. By 1580, ruffs had grown so large they could extend the entire width of a noble person's shoulders, acting almost like parade floats. The introduction of starch allowed for even greater creativity and elaboration in ruff designs, contributing significantly to the iconic Elizabethan aesthetic. Lady Frances Cobham's remark in 1564 that 10 yards is enough for the ruffs of the neck and hands reflects the early use of fabric in ruffs, but as the century progressed, the amount of material used increased dramatically. By the 1580s, it was common for ruffs to require around 18 yards of material, with supporting wires, decorative edging, and elaborate ornamentation. Fashion, like life, is always evolving, and ruffs continued to morph throughout the decades. During the 1590s, women began wearing ruffs that were open in the front, framing their entire head while allowing them to bend their necks forward. This style, also adopted by some men, gave women the opportunity to show off their décolletage, particularly when paired with a figure-enhancing bodice. Later, from about 1625 to 1650, women started wearing oval ruffs or large closed ruffs set in formal tubular pleats that spread laterally over the shoulders. These were usually accompanied by wide-brimmed beaver hats, a look that suggested readiness for both formal events and festive occasions. However, the material used to construct ruffs was fragile and could fall apart due to hot weather, rain, or body heat. As a result, many ruffs were single-use only, making them a costly fashion statement. Maintaining the shape and stiffness of these garments required considerable effort and skill, underscoring the wearer's wealth and status. Queen Elizabeth I played a significant role in popularizing and regulating ruffs. She is often associated with the trend of massive collars, not only because the era is named after her but also because she set the fashion standards of the day. Elizabeth even took her influence into the legal realm, banning blue ruffs simply because she disliked the color and attempting to regulate the size of ruffs in public. Her efforts to curb the size of ruffs, though often ignored, illustrate how deeply fashion was intertwined with power and social norms. Throughout the Elizabethan period, ruffs were worn by men and women of all social classes. However, the introduction of double ruffs during Elizabeth's reign led her to forbid them, though enforcement was lax. By the early 17th century, falling ruffs became popular, functioning more like small capes than traditional collars, and were eventually adopted by both men and women. Despite their eventual decline in popularity, ruffs had a solid 70-year run and left an indelible mark on fashion history. While it remains unlikely that such an impractical fashion trend will make a comeback, the ruff serves as a fascinating reminder of a time when fashion was a direct expression of social status and personal identity. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments and let us know what other historical fashion trends you'd like to explore. Don't forget to subscribe to the History Luang channel for more fascinating deep dives into the quirky, surprising, and sometimes bizarre aspects of history.